to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please silence your cell phones. Let's know if you have roll call, please.
Mayor Plummer,
Here.
Commissioner Brooks.
Here.
Commissioner Roberts.
Here.
Commissioner Galbraith.
Here.
I haven't heard from Commissioner Gibson. We do have a quorum and ready for the transaction of business.
Okay, let's move on to number 4, approved minutes. We have 4 different meetings to approve. So the first one's for a regular meeting on March 8th of 2022. Need a motion and second.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and second. Roll call, please.
Can we just do all in favor?
Want to do that?
All in favor.
If you want to.
Yeah.
Aye.
Okay, moving on 4B, special meeting on March 8th, 2022. Need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second.
I'll just go ahead there.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Moving on to 4C, special meeting of March 12th, 2022. Need a motion and a second.
So moved.
I'll
Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And the last one, 4D, special meeting on March 18th, 2022. Need a motion and a second.
Motion. Second.
Okay. Roll call, all right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, number 5, audit presentation. Tonight we have Andy DeMoss with us. Andy, you gonna come forward? It's the 2021 audit presentation.
Thank you, Mayor. So as the mayor said, these are the June 30, 2021 audited financial statements. I've prepared some slides for you all. I heard Stan talking about how lengthy this thing's getting. So there's a lot of numbers in there, but hopefully the slides will help.
I'm talking about your, this
Right, I
document.
know, I
Okay.
know.
All right, okay.
But first, let me go over the audit opinion, which is 2 pages into the actual bound report. You'll see it on our letterhead. And here you'll see, this outlines management's responsibilities, the auditor's responsibilities. We're charged with performing the procedures in accordance with governmental auditing standards. And then at the bottom, you'll see our opinion. We believe the financial statements are fairly presented in all material respects. So that's an unmodified audit opinion, and that's the best we can give you all on the financial statements. That being said, the rest of these pages pretty much are the city's financial statements. We do help prepare the financial statements. So I'll go over the slides here with you all that I handed out. And they're flipping on to the first slide. This is your statement of net position. As you'll see, the total assets have grown by about $6 million over the course of the last 4 years, and liabilities have kind of grown with that. That being said, I'll show you on the next slide why that occurred. The net position is essentially the city's equity there, so it's declined. But if you look at the next slide, this is your net pension and OPEB liabilities over the last 4 years. These aren't something that we come up with or Brad comes up with. The state pension plan has an audit, and then we get your all's proportionate share, and that gets put on the books. So over the course of those 4 years, it's gone up $3 million in just those 2 things. They're broken up into 2 different pots. You have the pension portion, and then the OPEB portion is the other post-employment benefits, and that's essentially the retiree's health insurance. There's different actuarial assumptions they have to use. If you look at these trends, and you'll see some schedules in the back, pretty much the pension liabilities have almost doubled in the last 8 years. So that's not really something, the result of the city, because the city's always made 100% of your all's contributions. Just kind of shows you how that programs become kind of underwater, I guess you could
Yeah,
say.
underfunded.
Unfunded liability.
Mhm. So, the city's always made your contributions. The best thing you can do is look at your budgeted dollars for payroll and what those projected matches are for both hazardous and non-hazardous. On the next page, page 4, this is a schedule of your governmental fund revenues. In total, those totaled 8.6 million. They were down about $1 million from the previous year. In fiscal year 2020, you had CARES funds and then some additional road funds. And then you also had a decline in your license and permits in fiscal year 21. So there was a decline there from the previous year. The following page is your schedule of the governmental fund expenditures on page 5, and those totaled 7.8 million. In looking at these, as I said, revenues decreased $1 million, expenses decreased $1.5 million. So there was a lot in capital outlay in the previous year, in over $2 million in new assets purchased. So that was the big driver in that decline there.
Yeah, and Andy, on the revenues for that license and permits. Remember in the prior fiscal year, we had that one large insurance payment came in. It was like around a $780,000 payment, so that's part of what's driving that big change on the revenue side of it.
Yeah. On page 6, this is your enterprise funds. This is your utility fund. In total revenues were 9.4 million. They were down about 400,000. The decline there was primarily with the electric department, but then that was about 400,000 there. The water and sewer charges were up just a little bit. The next page is page 7, $10 million in fiscal year 21 expenses. Here, that was a decline of about 2% or $200,000. So not a huge decrease year over year. The largest decline you have there is administration. I think that had to do somewhat of just how costs were allocated in fiscal year 21. And then the final page, you're going to see this is kind of your change in your fund balance for the two different funds. The dark green, the one on the right of each year, is your general fund. Most years the general fund's around break even, or the governmental funds are. Last year there was that large increase due to the CARES funds that came in and the road funds, the excess funds, and then like Brad mentioned, some of those insurance funds that came in. On the utility side, it continues to decline. Things to keep in mind, the business type are the utility fund, is the utility fund, that's 731,000 decline. You had 870,000 in depreciation there. And then the change in the pension and OPEB liabilities, you have to account for that as expense. So that was another 700,000 that impacted that. So when you see those numbers, don't be too alarmed there with that decline. So that's kind of my summary there. Do you all have any additional questions on the numbers before I go over a few other things in the audit report itself?
I can just remember in 2013, the first year that they told us that we had to keep that liability, the unfunded liability, and it was 12.8 or something like that at that time.
Yeah.
And it's gone now to, well, 18, it's gone to 18 and 5, I think, isn't it? So it's like
Yeah.
23
Yeah, so
total.
But
But they
if
say
you all,
we-
in the back schedules, there's a lot on this. you can look at your proportionate share of your piece of the pie of that, and you'll see it hasn't really changed that drastically. So it's not the city's doing, it's the overall plan.
The best thing they said, we'd never have to pay it back. We would carry it on our books, but we didn't have to pay it back.
So there's a few other reports that we have, just kind of general reporting with you all. I'll cover the letter that's outside the audit report itself. I kind of use this as our catch-all letter. Any additional recommendations, communications we have with you all that we need to go over. New accounting policies, significant accounting policies. There weren't any new significant accounting policies that had to be adopted. There were corrected misstatements on page 2. We've listed out the material ones. And I'll talk about the adjustments here in a little bit, but so there were some big adjustments that we had to do over the course of the audit, and they're listed right here. And then we have some just general recommendations for improving your all's controls and policies that start at the bottom of page 2. Journal entry process. This is a recurring recommendation. Just having a centralized and approval process of journal entries that are getting posted, and those go into a centralized location for approval. We recommend that occur. Bank statement reconciliations. It's always good to have a secondary review. Oh, somebody say something. Always good to have a secondary review and have the sign off there. So we have that recommendation again. On page 3 at the top there, and this is something that you all have been doing for a long time, and we've been catching this, and we've realized several cities are doing this. The utility fund is charging itself utility charges, and that's basically increasing expenses and increasing revenues. So those have been netted down.
Right.
And it's not something, you can still charge the general fund or the road fund if needed, or the general fund, but it's not something that those internal charges should be occurring in the utility fund. So we've caught that this year on several cities, and we're trying to make that recommendation moving forward. Purchase orders, saw some inconsistencies there, and when we tested expenses, just sometimes there was a lack of purchase orders, or sometimes those are dated after the actual invoice date. So purchase order policies need to be followed a little more thoroughly and enforced. And so we have noted that here. And then the last is regarding the uniform guidance procurement standards. And this is really, you all updated your procurement standards not too long ago, but really all you need to have in there is that, and this has to do with federal funding. If you get federal funding, you need to follow the uniform guidance, which is kind of the guidance that you have and how to account for those funds. So really just having a statement in the procurement policy that we're going to follow the uniform guidance in accordance with that. So those are just some recommendations we have to improve upon moving forward. We do have a couple other things in the back of the report. The last probably 3 pages you'll see in here. This year's audit wasn't under a single audit, so that means you didn't spend over $750,000 of federal funds, but which is good. It's a lot more work on our part, and, but it is good sometimes to get some additional grants and money too. So these last 3 pages, these are our independent auditors' report on financial reporting and compliance. So when we say internal control over financial reporting, that's the process of preparing your financial statements, we're not meaning your internal control in your day-to-day transactions. We're more looking at detecting material misstatements that can occur in the financial statements and catching those before we do the audit. So, we don't have any compliance findings, but we do have 2 internal control findings. The first one, and they're listed here as material weaknesses in your internal control over financial reporting. Page 61 has to do with audit adjustments. We had quite a few audit adjustments. Just things just weren't quite all the way closed out. There needs to be more of a closing process before we start the audit. That's what that finding has to do with. And it's we've kind of had something similar to that in the past. So, and then the second one here on the last page, it's a material weakness on the utility billings. There wasn't a good control in catching some of the electric overbillings that occurred in June. There's different types of controls in place. You all detected it and were able to identify that and make sure things got corrected, but there weren't preventative controls in place to make sure that didn't happen. So somebody should be reviewing those billings before. It should be a secondary
Yeah.
process. And
That's what I was
review.
gonna ask you, what can we do before the bills are stamped? Like,
Well, I think that occurred too, if I'm not mistaken. Was there a new rate? at
It
that
was,
point in
yeah,
time?
so we did, because what this is referring to is when the new rate was implemented with that June 28th bill. We did do a lot of internal looking at the software systems with the new rates and everything, but I can't remember if we did try to print out bills and check those, or something. If we did that, then something got tripped up when the final was really uploaded, because we were tracking things on a backup, but something either got tripped up or we hadn't done that process to really look at the bills, so.
And that wasn't that was already fully identified before we came in.
Right. Yeah.
It wasn't,
Yeah.
and we had, but it is something that, I think it did create a material adjustment
Yeah.
at that point in time, so. You all have any additional questions, or?
I looked on page 35.
Okay.
I know, I lead an exciting
Don't forget the
life.
timer going.
On page 35, no,
Okay.
but I guess down there, Andy, what I'm talking about is for the year ended June 30th, the city contributed $1.1 million for the non-hazardous, and then the city contributed $420,000 on our retirement plan, and you talked about that earlier, that we had contributed 100% of what we were obliged to contribute.
Right, and there's schedules back here, Stan.
Right. But I guess my point was that out of our budget, $1.5 million is the retirement portion.
Yes, sir.
Out of let's say roughly $19 million combined budget.
Right,
That's the thing about
$1,000,001
it.
is the non-hazardous,
Yeah.
the 420 is the hazardous.
That's right,
So it's about 10, combined to 10% of our budget.
right.
Yeah.
But still, it's a significant number of roughly a $19 million budget, just the retirement portion. And it doesn't look like it's gonna get any better. Didn't this year for hazardous up to 48 or 49%?
Yes.
I think.
Non-hazardous
It went, oh yeah, but it went down .02 something, 02 something, or .02 something or another.
But hazardous went up quite a bit. We only have 22 employees left
Right.
in hazardous.
Right. But again, it comes back to the unfunded liability portion and just
Yeah,
the
they
cost
gotta
of-
catch it up.
just that part of the accounting process. That's in the rearview mirror. this is over. We gotta look going forward, believe it or not. What are we, 2/3 of the way through this year?
Yes, sir.
We'll be seeing you before long anyway.
Any other questions for Andy? I guess we need a motion. You need a motion to this?
To approve the audit?
Yeah.
Yep.
Need a motion, please.
I'll move to approve the 2021 audit presentation prepared by Ray Foley Hensley.
Need a motion second. Roll call.
Mayor Plummer,
Yes.
Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Gabbard,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Gibson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Hey, Andy, thank you.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
You have a good
Thank you.
meeting. Appreciate working
Thanks.
with you all.
Moving on to 6, special request, Mr. Tom McConnell, Harris Bourbon County Young Professionals.
Thank you.
How you doing tonight?
Good, sir. How are you?
Good. Have us here.
All right, here on behalf of the Paris Bourbon County Young Professionals Group, it is time for us to begin our planning stages of the Festival on Fifth Summer Concert Series, located on the parking lot of Bluegrass Hearing and Jim Lovell's law office, and then also on Fifth Street. At this time, we are requesting the closure of Fifth Street between Main Street and Pleasant, so we can hold that event on the following dates. The third Friday of every month, May 20th, June 17th, July 15th, and August 19th.
You got any questions? Seems like you had pretty good turnout.
We do. We have a good attendance and a lot of community involvement with it, so something we look forward to.
I will tell you, May 20th is Paris High School's graduation. They moved it from the
What is
27th
the 27th?
to the 20th and the 27th because it's Bourbon County's graduation. So,
Okay.
yeah, May 20th is Paris High School's graduation.
Okay, well, when I set the dates, they had told me the 27th, so we'll have to.
You're fine.
We'll look at that and see what we need to do to.
7:30. So I just wanted to let you know.
I appreciate it. No, thank you.
Any other conflicts that we know about? Okay. We need a motion to approve then. Stan, are you up for approving?
I'll move to approve the 4 dates that the Young Professional Group has recommended.
Got a motion second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Gabbard,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Gibson,
Yes.
Mayor Plummer.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you
Don.
all for your
Thank
time.
you.
Thank
Appreciate
God.
it.
Thank you.
Move 6B, retail strategies update. Ms. Biddle, how you doing today?
Oh, just lovely. Happy to be here. So I wanted something more formal for you guys at this time, but they were not able to provide that for me at the turnaround, so I'm gonna provide something for you next time. I just wanna make sure that, you know, our communication is open with this, and I don't really have more of an update from the last event that we had where it was an online Zoom meeting. However, I know a lot of you guys couldn't be there during that time, so I wanted to give you guys an update with that. Right now, we are in the process, or not, there's not a process, but we're in the stage of having 3 active conversations with 3 different national chains that 2 of them would be backfill locations, one of them in the Boardman's building, and then one of them in the Paris Village Shopping Center over by Save-A-Lot. And then the other location would be a greenfield build. I wouldn't assume it's in front of the Paris Walmart where Todd is selling the location, but it is gonna be in front of the, near the Paris Walmart location. And so that would be a restaurant that is looking at us right now as well. Unfortunately, publicly, I can't, you know, talk about it, who it is, but if anybody has any like one-on-one questions, I'm happy to answer it. But I want to like kind of update you guys and let you know that, It is very, very, very promising that at this stage in the game, they're having serious conversations with companies looking at us. I know that the Boardman's location has been very looked at by a lot of different opportunities and discussed in a lot of meetings. So, and then like I said, next time I'll bring you a packet and make it look pretty and have a presentation. So, but does anybody have any questions on that?
You said one is a restaurant?
Yes. So what the trend that they're seeing right now, obviously from COVID, and they were starting to see that anyway, is, and Holly knows this, is the fast casual trend. It's very popular, places you can take your kids to, get in and out really quick, and so that's what's trending, and obviously that's kind of really what's worked in Bourbon County anyway, so that is the type of company.
Okay.
And you'll give us future updates as we go along.
Absolutely.
You'll give future updates?
Absolutely.
Okay,
And I'll be bringing a financial presentation to you all soon
okay.
as well.
Thank-
Any other questions with that? 'Cause I'm
Thanks,
next.
Lauren.
I'm next
Yeah,
as
you're
well.
next.
Well, it's basically the first Friday events.
Betty Ann gave me an official
Where's your partner in crime, I was gonna say?
Can she come to the table?
Oh, sure she
Okay,
can.
well, it's a special call meeting, we just don't know the rules.
Betty, have a seat.
No, it's a shared stage, we get 10 minutes. Okay,
And you can match.
we planned it. It's like we're a news team.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're really excited about this because we've really wanted a really active merchants group since being involved in the Chamber and Tourism in our roles. And this was brought to us by the merchants group, and they want to do a First Fridays event, First Friday, April, May, June, July, August, 5 months. And they're not asking to close the street down. They are asking from 6 to 9 p.m. to just have access to those city parking lots. I know places like Kendall's wants to set up. We're going to invite Renaco's down. We want to invite all the restaurants down to the city area just to have like open house style events going on with the restaurants and like making sure people have access, not the restaurants, but the shops as well. And making sure people have access and interest in the shops.
Actually,
5
to 9.
Excuse me, 5 to 9. I'm confused with all these times.
We were happy because a group of merchants actually invited us to come to the meeting.
They invited us to lunch.
Yes, so, we are hoping to get the downtown merchants to activate and bring more business to themselves downtown. Also, we're hoping that Joe Wakeman will sit out on the street and play and strum.
We want this
one
to
of
be
the
a very
nights. We want it
authentic
to be
event.
Very authentic. It won't be like Art Walk. It'll be more low key because it's more for people to come into the businesses and the businesses to stay open late. For those of us that can't get there, that work out of town.
Sidewalk sales,
Sidewalk sales, maybe, specials in the restaurants, those kind of things. So, we'll see how it goes. Lots of other communities do it, and it's very successful in other places, so.
So the only thing we're asking for you guys is just the access to the city parking lots for those events.
You know what time, to make sure what time?
5 to 9. So we're looking at the one by the Eiffel Tower and then the 5th Street parking lot.
So April 1, May 6th, June 3rd, July 1, and August
August
5th.
5th, yes.
And we'll leave this lovely poster for you.
Well, I brought it to hang somewhere in the.
Somewhere down.
Should we give me one to post?
Arthur Newberry was the one that designed the posters, and he's gonna bring 2 out there for you all. So,
You got any further questions? Guess we need to take a vote on this, I guess, so.
Yeah, I think, so normally a city manager could approve the use of the parking lot like that, but
Okay.
in the absence of that, I think it'd be best for you all to make a motion.
And usually the city manager would have us come to you guys anyway.
I'll make a motion that we approve using the city parking lots for the dates we just said, for the First Friday events.
Second.
Motion and second, we'll take a vote.
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Galbraith,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Gibson,
Yes.
Mayor Plummer,
Yes.
Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, lady.
Number 7, old business, municipal order regarding American Rescue Plan Act, state and local fiscal recovery fund expenditure policy agreement. Mr. Bowman.
Yes, so this is in follow-up of what we talked about last time, or we can call it the ARPA SLRF funds. So this would, going forward, then allow Brad and I to handle the reporting that is due to the city. Come back to you, I think it's the easiest path for the city is to address the assumed revenue loss that the Treasury Department has given of $10 million, which you all would fall well under that. Then it has to be tied back to other services that you have utilized, which would fall under governmental services. But then there's reporting that's required for that. You have already received the first tranche of the money. The second one, as I last heard, there's not a date yet set. I think everyone assumes that would be in the next fiscal year. And my
Yeah.
guess is it's probably the first quarter of your next fiscal year. So this process allows that to go forward. In different forms of government, this engagement would allow the chief executive officer of the entity to then oversee that. Of course, that's not this form of government, so all those expenditures have to come back to this body for approval. Any questions?
No questions, we need a motion?
So moved.
Got a motion, need a second?
Second.
Ms. Settles, roll call, please.
Commissioner Galbraith,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Gibson,
Yes.
Mayor Plummer,
Yes.
Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Commissioner Roberts.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Moving on to 7B, pay scale and classification system. Mr. Bowman.
Actually, that's me, Mayor.
Oh.
And I'm gonna combine B and C together on this. So Aaron and I have been looking at cost of living increases that we can apply across the step and grades. A lot of communities are coming back with about a 3% to 7% increase depending on the location. Obviously, the 7% are higher population areas. One of the things that we need to look at, and I'm looking at as well too, is that the tables we have right now are 2020 numbers, and we're looking to kind of project out for 22, 23. So we're maybe looking at a slight increase over a 3%. And then also too, we've been talking with ClearGov, which is the entity we run our budgets and things through. They have a personnel add-on that we're looking at to do a test run with this budget process. And it's a very, not to say very easy thing, but they can take our step and grade tables and upload those to that site that we're used to seeing, and then we can dump in all the employees and kind of run those through various scenarios and things a lot easier than what we can on the spreadsheet. So I think by the time we come around to the first meeting in April, we should have all that information ready to go and can walk you through some of those different scenarios and probably get into a workshop afterwards as well too, to start looking at what we want to increase. And then part C, as far as the new hires starting wages, have talked with both Chief Thomas and Chief Duffy. I think they're kind of both in agreement and in alignment to look at some percentage increases on the starting wages of around about 3 to 5% as well too, and make sure that that is kind of the focus of the new hires or the entry level, and then try to phase those increases into to where the more who's ever currently there might be underneath those, try to phase those up as well too, but then also look at some of the more of the senior staff as well, as far as trying to make sure that those overall increases don't phase in too significantly that it's kind of hurting, putting a drain on the budget. So I've been talking with both of them, and I think right now we're kind of in that line of we're progressing the way we want to.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Since we've done 7B and 7C, we'll go to 7D, second request for an HR audit. Commissioner Gibson.
Yes. So I had mentioned this probably several months ago at a meeting that, you know, we have that financial audit every time. I think, Aaron, do you know the last time that we had an HR audit? Okay, so we've never, and you've been here, what, 15 years? 12 years. So, and you know, just having gone through this myself, this has kind of reminded me, with our new business, we're using Payroll Solutions, and you know, there's a lot that goes into employee files and all that, and it's just a good thing, you know, in case, you know, the federal government, whoever, state government comes in, just to make sure our files are in order. And sometimes it's good to have somebody outside do that. I know I keep running across my life insurance form that I have never turned in.
You're still in there.
But you know, I mean, things like that can go by the wayside a little bit. So anyway, and I'm sure you've got a checklist and everything of what's supposed to be in everybody's file. But again, you know, things like that need to be checked by an outside source every so often, just to make sure that we are complying with our own policies and everything. So.
I can't remember, did we vote on that from previous and yeah?
No, sir. I think we just discussed it.
Discussed?
Yes, sir.
Do we need a motion then?
Well, yeah, you would need a motion to act, for sure.
Okay, I just want to make sure
Yeah,
we're doing it
yeah.
properly.
Yeah.
Okay. Need a motion?
Stan, hold on.
Well, no, I wasn't gonna make the motion.
It looked like you
You
had a
got a question?
question.
Well, I thought that with this HR audit, that if we could get it, do we have any idea of what something like this, don't get me wrong, it's not always about the money,
Cost.
but it is. What's it cost?
Well, I think in light of certain things that have gone on, the HR audit needs to take place, just so we're all on the same page, Stan. So
Angie, I'm not saying that.
I know, but it's not, sometimes it's not always about the money, it's about doing the right thing. So the right thing would be to do the HR audit.
Do we need a request for proposal?
So it is, yes.
Well, and I guess that was
Yeah, so
gonna
that was probably.
kind of be my question as well too. If we do want to go out for an RFP, trying to figure out what the scope would be
Right.
on the RFP. And then the other thing, I talked with Commissioner Gibson as well too a little bit earlier. So I know we're in the process of trying to get that employee handbook completed, or still kind of in a draft form. Is that something to kind of get through that process and then potentially go out for an HR audit, or?
Have
Is this
you,
something that these folks
have
can
you
help
gotten that
I think, yeah.
ready for us to look at yet?
I need help with that.
Okay, so we probably need to get that on a meeting.
We only paused.
Or a
because we're
workshop.
currently doing a workshop
Okay.
for, paid time off.
Okay, all
So
right.
we didn't want to do it and then try to redo it. We just
Right.
Kind of all agreed that.
Well, why don't we
workshop.
try to go ahead and
that's
schedule?
gonna- I had planned on that being a bigger part of my budget meeting with you all.
Okay.
That workshop is to say, okay, this is how it will impact the budget.
All right.
But yes, it's ready and it's been reviewed by council and KLC has added policies and it's ready.
All right, so we kind of need to, so
Okay.
you think we need to get that before we do the audit?
I would like that, and then I can do some searches out there for some RFPs to see what kind of scopes of audits and those that are out there, and come back to the next meeting. And, you know, maybe we can kind of tailor that, yeah.
Works for me.
All right, so we're gonna push it off to the next meeting and kind of do a little more research?
Yeah,
All right.
But I guess my point was going to be, I was not going to say that we should not have an HR audit. I just wanted, if we had an idea, and if it was X number of dollars or above, then that would be something we'd put in the budget for this next year.
Yeah.
But
I think we have some discretionary though, don't we, for things that pop up?
I think we probably do, yes. It's probably under the city manager and, you know, some of his discretionary,
Yeah.
balances and things
I was
like that. It's
thinking,
not,
doesn't the commission also have some
Yeah,
discretionary?
Yeah, we have
I
money.
thought we did, yeah. All right.
$50 doesn't go very far.
I'd buy you part of a tank of gas.
So we're gonna finish, she's gonna finish the handbook, and then we're gonna, next meeting, go into discussing.
Yeah, I think what we ought to do is, as we're kind of getting into the budget, especially like as what Aaron mentioned on the personnel and payroll, try to get workshops kind of timed up on the employee manual along with those, and then we can still keep on going with the scope of what we're looking for an HR. And I've got a few clients I can call that's probably got some kind of an RFP that.
Everybody okay with that?
Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay. Thank you. We'll move on to 7E, report of bid opening of sanitation trucks, request to reject the bid and surplus by different method. Smith, how you doing today?
Okay. How are you?
Fine.
Good.
So we had the bid opening last Friday, 10 a.m. We have one bid come in from Rumpke. $1,700 per truck.
Jeez, yeah.
I think we can do better on gov deals.
Yes.
I mean, we could get rid of them ourselves for that price easily. So I just ask y'all to reject the bid and ask that we put it on gov deals.
Will we approve the recommendation of sanitation?
I
Second.
did that.
Got a motion
Public
second.
Works?
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Gibson,
Yes.
Mayor Plummer,
Yes.
Commissioner Brooks,
Yes.
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Galbraith.
Yes, ma'am.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Mike. Sure. Like it.
Moving on to number 8, new business action item, permission to open bank account for police department K-9 funds. Chief's not here.
Toad bond.
Uh,
Toad bond.
Yeah.
Toad bond.
Mr. Dolvine? He didn't tell you about it?
He did not. Are we allowed to make that deviation from this?
Yeah, we're looking to open up a K-9 account for specific K-9 funds, not of asset forfeiture, but money gained through court fees and things like that, spent only on the K-9.
I believe the K-9 can also get grants,
Yes.
and those grants have to be in a particular account for the K-9, and we can't commingle those funds.
Correct.
So we have to have official minutes to open a bank account of approval.
Second.
Yeah, because we already have asset forfeiture accounts. You all, I think there's 2 or 3 up there already.
Yeah, there's a narcotic and an asset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'm asking, does you control that, police control it, I mean, the bank, you got it, okay, just want to make sure.
Yeah, right.
I just suggested it might be easier since there are already certain segregated police department accounts, that this new account should just go to that same bank,
Yes.
whoever that is.
Traditional.
Is it traditional?
Roll call, please.
Mayor Plummer,
Yes.
Good job.
Commissioner Brooks,
Yes.
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Galbraith,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Gibson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Moving on to 8B, electric distribution system and pole attachments. Mr. Bowman.
With Mr. Sparkman's help, we will, this issue has come up a time or two in the past, a little bit more specific requests now that we have from an entity. So historically, certain carriers in town have, like bear term, rented space on the city's electric poles. Obviously, the primary user of this was the cable company, which has changed names a number of times, which of course serves hundreds, or it did, thousands of customers. As different phone companies came into being, they jumped on as well. One that you all may be somewhat familiar with was Windstream. And 20 years ago, maybe, something like that, before all of our, before your and my time ago. Right. They were on, and of course, they either ceased operations, or at least ceased operations in the city of Paris. And so still to this day, there are hardware from Windstream still on the city's utility poles. I think Aaron rightfully believes it's not the city's responsibility to take those down, and that company is defunct, so still there they stay. which is kind of set a mindset of how many lines can be on the city's electric distribution poles. So about this time last year, it looks like February of '21, there was a discussion and someone had reached out on behalf of Open Fiber. It was a discussion that several of us had with that entity and several gentlemen. At that point in time, they did not have any customers in the city. They just requested that the city give them the right to string lines on the city's telephone. I say telephone poles, excuse me, electrical poles. Old habit there, sorry.
Utility poles.
Utility poles.
That
thank
covers
you.
them all.
So at that point, I don't think there was much interest on behalf of Mr. Sparkman, and I think Darren and Mike were both involved with that as well. And they had no customer. Now they have one customer in town, which very limited footprint, and I think has 4 to 5 employees. So they have a prospective customer, and they would like to basically rent space on our poles. So, this is a situation that is probably going to repeat itself with entities coming in. I think we can see more and more wired companies seeking approval. So Sparky asked me, what do we do? And I said, well, sounds like this is a great topic to bring to the City Commission to get their feedback on. And with that, I will turn over the technical discussion to Mr. Sparkman.
I don't know how technical this will be, but I'm sure you all can see in driving through town numerous drops, what I call drops, just lines hanging off poles that nobody comes back and takes care of. We get service calls repeatedly for lines down that 9.9 times out of 10 end up not being electric, end up being telephone or a cable drop that is defunct and hit the ground, and we have to go cut it off, which necessitates call outs either after hours or during hours that breaks us away from what we're doing. Just systems don't get maintained very well, and if they don't have a customer in the area anymore, then they really don't care to come fix it. When Kentucky Fiber went through the state, pushed the fiber optic project through the rural areas and all over, they left extra capacity on purpose to sell out to companies, and now these companies are coming behind that installation, just numerous pop-ups, I call them, that are trying to rent that space, lease that space, that extra capacity from the state, and then sell it to an end user, but they have to run the distribution network to homes and commercial businesses and stuff. And this is one of the companies, they operate in the state. I've talked to a few different people. They have a few customers. They're not very big at all yet. It's really an issue for us, though, that when I go to a pole in the middle of the night that's been substantially changed by a drunk driver, I've got 4 or 5 different people that I've got to contact right now just to get them to transfer their lines so we can remove the old pole out of the way. And we keep adding and we keep adding, and there's just more, I'll call it junk. It's just more stuff up there. And I guess we're just kind of asking that we either wait till somebody has a really definitive project that encompasses the whole city, where, hey, we have 20 customers, we have 100 customers, we have a real plan, not just one customer at the edge of our territory to reach out to. We do charge fees for pole rentals and stuff, and those do add up, because none of these companies own any utility poles, as opposed to AT&T, where we kind of trade off rental fees with them, where they have poles in town as well. But the trade-off, I guess, in our opinion, is not really worth what we're getting from that company at the moment. So we're I guess asking that you just kind of look at this as a whole, because if we approve the one, then the next one that comes in can run his down to Scott Avenue somewhere for one customer, or out Clintonville Road for one customer, or whatever, and then I've got 12 companies before too long that I'm calling to see, oh, hey, is this line yours? No? Okay, on to the next. So that's just kind of what we're dealing with at the moment. A lot of people calling in with some interest, I say a few calling in with interest in running more wire to just really small locations at the moment.
So one of the things that Mr. Sparkman and I talked about is we're now kind of on the opposite side of the situation that we've been with cable. Because, for a number of years, there was efforts by the city and within the community to expand internet capability to homes and TV as well. And at that time, the cable company has a benchmark of so many homes per mile of service. So that may be something you all could consider. It may not go by the mile, but if there were 4,000 people asking for a connection, that's a pretty. The city of Paris is speaking at that point. One customer on so many lines, it's a demand issue. And so, anyway, just, Aaron had asked me what, and I was like, I think, we kind of need some policy guidance from the commission. Is there a threshold to look at? How we go about processing these requests?
My question, Sparky, would be your example of, let's say, going down Scott Avenue. Is it by the drop? Let's say if I live down Scott, it's not if you've got to run it, let's say, from Pleasant Street and hit 5 or 6 poles to get to my house. It's not, the fee's not times 6 poles, is it? Okay, that's what I want to know. Okay.
Currently it's set up as a.
Every pole with
per
a,
attachment.
okay, all right.
Per attachment
Okay,
rental,
good.
well, per pole. You
Yes.
can have multiple attachments on the same pole, but it's
Yes.
one fee.
Yes, but if you're on that pole to string it next door to my house, that's a fee, okay, all right.
This particular agency is looking to string down West 20th Street and around the, I call it the Weaver Building, but 20th Street over to Cypress and hit over towards Rocky Drive.
Okay.
And for one customer, they're hitting maybe 20 poles, I
Okay,
think.
so there'd be 20 times X, whatever.
They offered $18 a year.
How much?
Per pole.
They offered $18 a year.
You got any of your counterparts in other cities?
Did you say 18?
What are they, got any fees? I mean, do you know anything about their fee structure
And
or
they're gonna use
anything?
20
Honestly,
poles?
not in that regard. I know with Bell South, we trade off. We get a check from Bell South, AT&T, excuse me. We get a check from them for like $1,500 for the year, something like that, $1,600. For the whole year.
Town, but you're trading off,
But we're on theirs and they're on ours. So it just works out in our favor a little bit. For Charter Spectrum, I think we're still working through that issue. I don't know that Brad may be on, this is something we've been batting back and forth a little bit. We're not sure that we're getting anything off Charter at the moment. And there is no back and forth with that. They are only on our poles currently. We don't get anything out of their service for that. So I think you can just about set whatever's agreed upon by the other company as far as a connection fee or a pole attachment fee. I guess at some point they're gonna decide it's not worth doing.
Right.
For $100 a pole. I don't know that they're gonna wanna do that.
Yeah, but $18 a year for 20 poles, I mean, that's not,
Yeah.
that's not.
It really is not worth, to me,
No.
it's not worth the headache of dealing with it.
No, it's not.
But we really do have, Brad brought up Windstream. I've got a pole sitting here on 20th Street that was broke 3 or 4 years ago now. And it has a little pole piece roped off where Windstream is attached to it that we can't legally, and we don't want to take responsibility for a transfer. They're supposed to come transfer this stuff, and I've called repeatedly to try to get that done.
And then we need to get our attorney to write them a letter and say, hey, it's time.
Drop dead, give them a drop dead.
I mean, really,
I'm
it's
almost ready
time.
with some bolt cutters.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
then
mean,
hopefully
That'll
somebody
get
will
their
make
attention,
attention.
that'll get somebody's attention.
Yeah, I mean, that, sure.
But it's just, it really is a hassle. There are poles sometimes that will stay there. People are like, when are you gonna pull my pole? I'm like, whenever the other company gets their stuff off of it. It can be a while sometimes.
Well, that's something we just need to clean up.
Yeah, that's
Clean the letter and.
And there may be property maintenance code issues in play too, so we can address Well, if there's no motion to consider the open fiber request, then we can report that back, and if there's other requests, then we'll bring those to you all as well.
We for $18, we can't even look.
Yeah.
No, you can take
Yes.
it.
I'm A-okay with it.
Okay.
I know you are.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Mark.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to 9, financial business, February financials, Commissioner Overland.
Thank you, Mayor. So we got the cash report starting on page 33. You'll see at the end of February, general fund had operating funds of 7.7 million. That's about 900, close to 900,000 than what we had at the end of January, and close to about 400,000 over what we had this time last year. So we've kind of maintained year over year our cash balance and increased that some as well. Moving on to page 34, on the utility fund, you can see our operating funds are right around 1.1 million. Still have just a little bit left on the meter project at 595,000. Down in what we call our restricted funds, you can see about $1 million is still left in our ARPA funds after doing the hero pay. So total cash there is 3.2 million, about 1.4 or 1.5 million compared to last year. Moving on to page 35 for general fund actuals to budget and projections for the remainder of this year. On page 36, you'll see that right now our actual revenues are at $7,460,000, projecting to be about $9,141,000. Currently, right now, that'd be about $363,000 over our modified budget. Actual expenditures right now are at $6,831,000. Projected will be right around $8,549,000. So potentially maybe $1 million under, but obviously that changes as we go forward, depending on special needs and those kind of things. So right now our revenues are exceeding our expenditures by $628,000. Kind of projecting that out, maintaining that through the end of this fiscal year as well, with potential revenue over expenses of $593,000. Moving on to the utility fund. Our actual revenues at this point are $9,341,000, projecting out to be about $14,939,000. Expenditures are at $9,745,000 for actual, and then projected out to be $13,669,000 in expenditures. So right now, just with what we're doing in the meter fees and some other projects that are out there, our expenditures are exceeding our revenues by $403,000, but by the end of the year, I anticipate that swinging into the positive. So right now, our projected is about 1.2 or 1.3 million of revenues over expenditures. So that's the financial reports for the end of February.
You have any questions?
Just quick, weren't we going to try to get Carter in to, I guess, to kind of give us an update?
Yeah.
On where the meters are?
Yeah.
Or
Do a last payment.
last payment.
Yeah, we'll get that in have them come in for the next meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Have a motion?
I'll second.
Whoever wants to say.
Settle, roll call please.
Commissioner Brooks?
Yes.
Commissioner Roberts?
Yes.
Commissioner Galbraith?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Gibson?
Yes.
Mayor Plummer?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Moving on to 9B, approval payment of invoices. Mr. Overlander.
So on page 76, you'll see the summary for general fund. That total is $58,355.84. On page 77 and 78 is the utility fund. Need approval for $473,774.72. You'll see there on page 77 the payment to Perfection Group for about $141,000, and then also the independent excavating on page 7, the previous page, for $188,000. That is related to the US 460 project, which we get grant reimbursement on for that.
Any questions? I'll make the motion to approve the payment of invoices.
I'll second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Ms. Settles?
Commissioner Roberts,
Yes.
Commissioner Galbraith,
Yes, ma'am?
Commissioner Gibson,
Yes.
Mayor Plummer,
Yes.
Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, moving on to 9C, outstanding accounts payable. Nothing to vote on, just information only.
Yeah, those are listed on pages 86 and 87, and you can see really nothing material or significant for general fund, and then utility fund is just really kind of reimbursing customer deposits.
Any questions? All right, we'll move on to 10, reports, outside agencies. Ladies?
Should we get team again?
Yes.
Come on up here.
Tag team.
I brought visual aids again.
Betty Ann has a presentation.
You know, remember that we were on the cover travel host with the Eiffel Tower.
Yes.
So that was for 3 months. And now for the spring issue, we have 3 full pages again inside the magazine. So, travel host brought me this yesterday and I just thought it would be fun to show it to you all.
It's impressive.
And you all. So, that puts us in the limelight on travel host for like 6 months.
Right.
So hopefully that'll bring some folks on over to Paris. And I put, we are the birthplace and home to thoroughbred celebrities. So that's my little tagline on that one.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. So,
I
Art
don't
walk.
get it, can you explain?
Don't forget, Art Walk posters all went out today. I appreciate some of you all have shared it on Facebook, so when you see it on Facebook, all of you all would share it, then more people will see it. I feel like this time, it's gonna be probably one of the biggest ones we've had, because people, when I was passing the posters out today, they were like, oh, hooray, we're having Art Walk again.
Just to give some like actual statistics, like the day we created the event, we probably had like 200 within like minutes, people say they were gonna like attend the event. So like that's a
And
quick turnaround on an
then,
event.
the last time I checked on the downtown district page, I think we had 1,923 contacts, so. But we did change it from 5 to 9 to 6 to 9, because 5 to 9, as you know, you've been down there, it's,
Yeah.
there's
And it's
very
tough
few
for the
people.
business too,
And
to
it
get
is
there.
Yes, so we'll have, I've sent in the request to close the street down from 8th Street down to 2nd Street, just like always, from 5 to 9. So 9:30, give people time to clean up and get out. Yeah. So,
What's the date?
April 22nd. I'm running an ad in the newspaper too, so.
Good.
We've been hit up, yeah.
You want to talk about a grant now?
Okay.
Okay, so Stephanie sent us an email a few weeks ago about a hometown grant through T-Mobile. Is that the formal name of it, hometown grant?
Yes.
And it's for small communities that are at a certain population or fewer. Paris 100% qualifies for it. I think it's like less than 50,000.
Yes.
And so the grant is for up to $50,000. The pool of money is a pretty big amount of money. So like I feel like if we apply for something like this, this could be something that would be we would very much qualify for. We're working.
They're giving away, they have $25 million. So it's not just Kentucky.
It's nationwide, and it's for only like small communities. So it's for a beautification project in your community. Next time we'll have a more formal map ready for you. But what we're going to propose is continuing the beautification of the Fish Street parking lot, kind of working correspondence with Rotary, and to kind of make that the event-ready area in the community, so that way people can just like plug in sound, start an event ready to go. We'll have we've talked about before having a stage there, and already just having it ready to go. Now, this would be in partnership with you guys, because, you know, it is your parking lot. We need to make sure that it gets maintained, of that part of it, but like, we're more than happy to make sure it gets implemented, have a plan, deal with contractors, all that stuff to make sure it's ready to go. You know, the Rotary would still be in charge of that garden in the back, and I know Ashley has a plan for that, and so, but like I said, next time we'll have a more concrete map and diagram ready for you guys, but, this is due in, 10 days.
Right, and we've
So
started working on it.
we will
so-
be applying for it, and we're working on that now, as long as, you know.
When would you expect to receive?
It's, they let
Unless
you
they notice.
know 30 days, 30 to 60 days after the application goes in.
Okay.
Now, that's for this quarter. If we weren't to get it this quarter, we probably could reapply. I'll find out. And you may know, Stephanie, I don't know.
It just seems pretty promising.
It does seem pretty promising, and it's, you know, they want it to be something that will help your town, and we're gonna consider it to be a gathering place where everybody in Paris and Bourbon County can come and enjoy concerts or Food Truck Friday or.
And I have to close the street down every time.
And you won't have, we want to close the streets down every time, so.
Yeah,
Anyway.
that's kind of our goal, is to have events and have them just be, like, have that parking lot be event ready.
Also, or finish your part?
Yeah.
Also, April, we're starting a new round of commercials with Channel 36, so we're meeting with them this Thursday to lay out our plan. So you'll be starting to see some commercials. You may have seen one recently that they ran for us at no charge. I was excited because it came on TV, and I'm like, it was that food commercial, and it came on TV, and I got right
You're like, I didn't pay for
on,
that.
I got right on email. I'm like, we're not supposed to be running commercials right now. And they had somebody that dropped out, and they plugged ours in for no charge. So, we do appreciate that.
And then lastly, do you have anything else for? The EDA and planning and zoning and tourism and chamber, we met with a group, a community outreach group from Kroger last week. Kroger is very interested in digging in and doing a lot of sponsorship in the community, with no promises or anything. But they're excited to bring some projects to the community, and we gave them a little wish list of things we would like to see happen in the community, and
They were interested in like giving some sponsorships.
and they want to give sponsorships for events.
Because they want their name out.
But they also want to do a
So-
beautification project. And then we also talked about doing like some digital content with them, of highlighting some businesses that might be in their stores.
Cafe
and
Marco.
so we can advertise for
Coffee
local
is
events.
sold through Kroger's. So they'll use him and highlight him as one of their highlights. So whatever they do for that.
It just gives us free
they're
advertising.
It gives us good advertising.
So we're just trying to think of ways to get them notable advertising, but also advertising us as well. So I thought all those were really good ideas that we came up with, and we had a good creative brainstorm.
They're trying to increase the number of people that are doing pickups. So that's their goal in trying to get their name out there right now.
Current goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Okay.
That's all you got, okay.
Updates. What was our time?
Betty, have you got
Okay, well, just real quick.
How much time Joe give her?
They're all like this.
I think she has 5 minutes.
I've been working on, tourism has been involved in the Garrett Morgan Place project through the Parks and Rec.
Right.
And Angie, Holly, Cheryl, Judy Hudson's the chairman. And we've been doing some good things over at Garrett Morgan Place. Had a mural painted on
Shelter.
the shelter, and are doing storyboards about different aspects of Garrett Morgan's life and his inventions and
Accomplishments, yes.
accomplishments. So that's pretty cool, and it's been a lot of fun to work on, and we've got good help from my buddy back there, Mike
Yes.
Smith, he's gonna help put the signs up, and Parks and Rec gave a budget, and we
Stay
In
with
that
it.
same realm, I think I've got a guy who knows where that school was.
The branch.
The
Okay,
the
branch
Branches
school.
School.
There was
He
a
might
branch.
have some articles, so I'll get with you.
Okay.
As soon as he gets with me.
And just the other day when I was over there, I was talking to Fox, and he may be able to get us some pictures. Maybe Maddie has
Okay.
some
I think this
pictures
person
and
may have
things,
pictures and
so,
stuff of
we
the
might be
school.
able to get a lot more information, but that's awesome.
Yeah, I'll get with you as soon as they get with me.
Thank you, ma'am. Now let's move on to city staff. Sparky, you wanna add anything on? You got anything else?
The weather's warming up, so things are getting a little busier. I'm sure everyone's seen Walker Construction out, so we're starting the High Street phase of moving some poles and stuff. Not nearly as involved as the South Main project, excuse me, but we got 6 or 7 poles to change out for them. So we're getting on that this week. And got the truck bids in from the previous RFP, whatever that initial is. Those will come in, so that'll probably be due next commission meeting. But stuff's going well.
Thank you. Mr. Hurst, you have anything, please?
Just to let you know, we sold the cruisers out there. We got 27,000 for free,
Oh, wow.
$9,000 a piece. We've got 3 left, which other departments are looking at.
1,700.
Those 3 up to Jackson County. So we are selling them. I want to try to sell them $15,000 a piece, but let them go for that. No, that's all we got.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Mike, you got anything, Mr. Smith? No. Chief W, you quiet today? Aaron?
Just want to recognize Jeanette Benson. She'll be retiring on March 31st, 20 years of service in dispatch. So, just want to say congratulations to her. She's, we're going to miss her.
Okay, thank you. Okay, commissioners, Holly, you have anything?
I want to commend Mike Smith and his team for getting the flower baskets done. Everything's looking good and springy downtown.
You're not looking
That's
good.
all I have.
Thank you, ma'am. Ted, do you have anything? No.
No.
I'm going to forget you today. You don't have nothing? Okay, Stan?
I got a couple of things. Holly, would you want to kind of give any information out about our city manager search, or have you heard anything about?
Not yet,
Okay, you haven't heard anything.
no. I will update you all as soon as I do.
Well, is
I
it,
guess we should say that.
I'm sorry.
We're gonna say what's South Friday.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what about last Friday? Did you-
Oh, I mean,
you
do we
want-
wanna give an
yeah,
update?
just, give me an
Oh,
update on that, and then, I mean,
We had Zoom meetings with 3 candidates that I think we all could agree were very great. All 3 were great candidates. I think any of the 3 would work well here. They all had a lot to offer. We are bringing all 3 in, and kind of the reasoning behind doing the 3 Zoom meetings was just to see if we actually wanted to bring them in. A couple live out of state, so we wanted to see all 3 back. So I think that's supposed to be set up for sometime next week, so we can have it in person. They'll be taken around to all the departments, just like they were the last time and everything. And I mean, I think it's very positive. We're
Yes, yes.
moving in a positive direction, and hopefully we'll have a candidate hired as soon as possible.
Yes.
Amen.
progress, progress.
I know he's saying amen. Okay.
Mayor, were you gonna, I was in on an email, particularly dealing with the transfer station and things like that. Were you gonna make a report on that, or?
No.
Okay.
Are you gonna do it for
Yeah, I was just gonna,
Cool.
Yeah, go ahead.
there's not any handouts, I'm sorry, but this is my.
No, you're
You can
fine.
see this is all my stuff, but anyway, they, our 2 co-chairs, Mike Smith and Harry Park, have been meeting and have come up with some ideas, and in fact, they put together kind of not a Q&A, but just some points of interest that we've got, and believe it or not, and this all I know has come from Mike back here, and again, Holly, thank Mike for his crew and all that he does.
Getting all kinds of kudos today.
He does it each and every day. But anyway, our current transfer station averages about 186 people. Average customer through the facility is, 186 tons. We got 680 customers a month, about 22, that works out to about 22, 23 a day. Average tons of 8 tons a day, 29 vehicles, and the average pound per vehicle is 547. So that's just part of what we've been talking about. But one of the other things that they've also been working on is we've got a request for proposals. They've come up with a request for proposal on, as you know, the county has offered the site out off of the bypass, 14 acres out there. And they've come up with again, to come back, who said something about all those initials? Somebody said something about initials. Okay, Sparky, we got more initials. An RFP, okay, on this one. So anyway, but they've come up with a concept, and I don't want to read it to everybody, but also then Thursday night, there's going to be a meeting for Wallace, myself, Mike Smith, and the committee members from the county, which is Tony Sosby and Bart Horn, and the judge, and we're going to meet at 4 o'clock and go over some items. And I guess the point here tonight is they do have the RFP ready to go, so that means that we could put that in the paper with everybody's approval, because it does say the city of Paris will be extending the accepting proposals for architect and civil engineering firms to submit qualifications to provide professional planning and design services for a concept design of a new waste and recycling convenience center.
I think that in the last meeting, the one before, you all have already authorized that whenever Mike is ready to go,
We were gonna wait until the committee meeting, make sure.
Okay, till Thursday night, okay.
But
All
that
right.
doesn't need to come back before you,
Okay.
whenever you all are ready. it
All right,
goes
after
under
Thursday
Mike's
night,
name.
then we can, hey, Paul, what's the deadline to get anything in? If we want to get something in next Thursday's paper, what's our?
Monday.
Monday? Oh, okay, we got time then. That'd be fine. Okay, all right.
You didn't hear what I said.
Everybody else said.
I said, how much money you got out there?
Tuesday.
Don't ask him that.
Is it cheap, all right. Is it cheaper on Monday or
All
which
about the
day is
money.
it?
Friday.
Okay, all right, okay, all right. Okay, we'll do it after the meeting then Thursday night, because we've got a meeting at 4 o'clock.
The meeting's at 4?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Well, that's just for this committee.
This for,
Yes.
yes, for the committee members, yes, we're having,
We don't want to hold the general meeting.
That all you got, Sam?
I'm sorry?
That all you have?
That's all I have.
Mr. Roberts?
Okay, they have something first, Mayor, sorry.
Oh, okay.
So who will the bids go to? Will they come to me?
It says, and I'll include you in, yes, it does say city clerk, 525 High Street, by 2 p.m., and then we're gonna fill in the date.
So will I
So
be
it has
sending
to be
that to
run
the
twice,
paper then?
right? It has to be run
So
twice.
is she sending to the paper, or?
We'll get back with you on that.
That's what I was gonna suggest.
Okay.
We'll get back with you on that. We just gotta get through Thursday night's meeting, okay? As a committee. Okay,
I'm
thank you.
happy to do so.
Okay. Did you have
Okay.
anything?
I just have to say, last week I attended the Women in Government Conference. It was the first conference, and it went very well. We got to hear from, is it Mayor Onan? Is that her name? That, with Maysville, the tornado in Maysville.
Maysville.
Yeah. So we got to hear from her, which was it was an overwhelming conference with all the information, so that was good. Stephanie, Miss Settles was there, and Holly, the three of us attended.
We also heard from Weta Michaels.
Yes.
The one that owns Wendy Corner, and Holly, is it Holly Hill?
Holly Hill.
And several other businesses, so, that was interesting. Beth Burden from Paris, Kentucky was the,
It was nice. It
was the musical entertainment Thursday night.
So, yeah. And then, you and I sat down with Sandra Morgan, which is Garrett Morgan's granddaughter, and ate at Lil's 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, so that was really nice.
Saturday, yeah.
And then that Saturday, we were at the park with Wallace, the mayor and I, with his granddaughter, actually doing the unveiling of the mural that Betty Ann talked about. So that's it for me.
She did send some nice cars to people.
Yes, she did. They were very nice.
Very nice lady.
I'm good.
You good? Okay. I want to ask one thing. Citizen asked me, the sidewalk replacement ordinance. Is there anything done? I mean, where are we on
Mike,
that?
too.
That's Mike.
We got to update the bids that we got, because I'm sure price of concrete's going up as with everything else. Then I'll bring it back to the commission and we'll see what you all want to do with it.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, nobody has else anything, we'll move on to executive session. Motion to go into executive session pursuant to KRS 61.810, 1F, for discussion which might lead to the discipline or dismissal of an individual employee.
Second.
Commissioner Galbraith,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Gibson,
Yes.
Thank you
Mayor
all.
Plummer,
Bye.
Commissioner Brooks,
Yes.
Commissioner Roberts.
Yes.
Motion carries.